Hey, thanks for tuning in for Classics on Point. I'm Scott Brown,
I'm Victoria Davis.
and today we're going to talk about probably one of the most celebrated films of all time, Casablanca.
Woo! It's one of my favorite films.
It's not one of mine,
Meh.
but I do think it's definitely deserves to be one of the most celebrated.
It definitely is. Like, I grew up definitely hearing, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Of all the gin joints in the world,
She walks into mine.
Yeah, you hear that from everyone. AFI did a thing like 100 quotes for 100 years, and I think like 15 of them are from Casablanca.
They actually did a statistic of that, and it was, I think, 7 of the 100 most used quotes from movies were Casablanca. That's the most out of any of the films that they had in the list.
Because it's so well written.
Yeah, it is. And there was a lot of issues when they were producing the movie. They were debating changing the ending.
Which it worked so well.
It worked really well. It was beautifully done. I think that it was the ending that though most of us didn't want, we also still wanted, because you want justice to prevail in the end. And they do a flashback, but majority of the present movie, like during the present time in the film, takes place in Rick's.
In his bar.
Yeah.
I think it just works in there because Rick is the central character, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And having it set in his bar makes sense and then setting it up like this is the place where everyone goes.
You definitely kind of feel like
the credence of everything that happens in the film would happen there because of everything they set up in the first 5 minutes of the film. You feel almost like a fly on the wall.
Yeah,
like
exactly. If we want to talk about character development, which here's the thing, the characters, they're already developed, they just don't know that yet.
Yeah.
You know how you scrape away at like those black books and then they reveals the color underneath?
Yeah.
It's exactly like that. Because, the more you scrape away, the more you actually see that the picture's already there. Mm-hmm. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And so these characters have their individual parts of their own stories, but you don't know it yet, and then the characters don't know it about each other yet.
Yeah.
But the more you watch them, the further along you get in the film, the more you actually see that, it's been there the whole time.
Some of the characters aren't fleshed out as much as, say, Rick.
Like, you don't really get Sam's story.
Yeah, so, like, you're expecting, like, oh, since he's so fleshed out, you're expecting, like, other people to be fleshed out a bit more. Mm-hmm. And they're just not, though, and that is one thing I did find a bit frustrating in it, even though it is Rick's story, so he's the one that you really need to care about, so he's the one you need to know about. It's just that was one thing I did find a bit frustrating, but...
I think a lot of the reasons why we call them classics is because we just fall so in love with these main characters because we've spent 2 hours focusing on just them, and you get so attached to those characters versus getting attached to more of the story like you do in films now.
Yeah. So you have some facts, though, about the film, right?
I do, yes. I do have some cool facts that I was just looking it up as I was going along today. So the first one we kind of talked about, but Casablanca is the most quotable movie of all time. Yes. Not just in Warner Brothers, but all movies, all studios. It's the most quotable of all time. So the first quote, "Here's to looking at you, kid," which is,
it says throughout the film.
It's said throughout the film, and it's also said in a number of other films, more recent ones, which is kind of cool. So whenever you hear it, they're actually referencing Casablanca, which is really cool. This is kind of like a 1B fun fact, I guess. Warner Brothers still has the original set of Casablanca, but they're the only ones that do. You can't find any other Casablanca sets anywhere else, anywhere. So that's kind of a cool fun fact. So if you go to Warner Brothers studio in Hollywood, you can see the original set of Casablanca, and it's the only place you're ever going to see it. The second fun fact is that in the 80s, I thought this was so funny. As a journalist, I thought this was hilarious. So in the 80s, a journalist by the name of Chuck Ross decided to do a bit of a Hollywood experiment. So he changed the name of Casablanca to Everyone Comes to Rick's, and sent it to directors in Hollywood as an experiment to see if these directors recognize true greatness.
No, that name was actually the original stage play name.
Oh, it was the original stage play name.
Yes.
Okay, so he changed it to the original stage play name instead of Casablanca, sent it to these directors to see if any of them would actually recognize it as, to recognize it at all. and he sent it to 85, and only 33 recognized it as Casablanca. The others not only didn't recognize it, they actually rejected it. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
So they said they said things like, "Oh, this would be better for TV," or they thought the storyline was, weak and boring. Isn't that insane? These are directors in Hollywood that have made like Oscar-nominated films that rejected Casablanca.
And probably used Casablanca as like an influence.
Exactly. That might have even used their quotes. So there's that, which is just completely insane. So the third fun fact, or technically the fourth, they did not use. So in the movie, it shows there's kind of a sing-off kind of where the Nazis start singing their national anthem, and then the people at Rick's start kind of singing in challenge to them. They start singing, I actually forget the name. Do you remember? It was like, I totally forget. But it's a song. It might have
been. It was something French, I think.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It was a French song that's supposed to symbolize, like freedom and your own nationality. But the funny thing is that because of copyright issues, they weren't actually allowed to use the real Nazi regime anthem. So they had to use
the Nazis were
19th century.
The Nazis were such Nazis on copyright.
I know.
God. Who would have
really?
thought?
Who would have thunk it? Exactly. So the fourth fun fact is that Dooley Wilson, I think I'm saying that right, who plays the character of Sam, was actually a drummer who was faking piano playing throughout the whole film, which I thought was hilarious. Super, super funny.
That was also something I thought it was interesting too, is like how the time it was made, having a black character in it who had like a pretty significant role. Yeah,
he was like the third most important character in that film.
I thought that was interesting and nice, like, to see too.
Yeah, it was really nice to see. I loved his character too.
Oh, he's a great character.
Because he was it was funny because he was almost kind of like the puppet master in a way. Not the puppet. That's not a good way to put it. He was kind of, maybe not even the glue, but kind of this kind of person that really held
the connective tissue.
Yeah, the connective tissue of the two main characters. Yeah. Because without him, these characters, they wouldn't have come together the way that they did. So that was kind of cool. Fifth fun fact, Ingrid Bergman was a few inches taller than Humphrey Bogart. So Bogart had to stand on boxes or sit on pillows in their scenes together.
Sounds like Josh Hutcherson and Jennifer Lawrence.
I actually think about that all the time, how hard that must have been, because he's so short, and she's like this Amazon woman. So it's like, well, there you go, Casablanca, starting the trend of boxes and pillows.
Yeah, you
those poor short
people.
You
use those Apple boxes on set.
Exactly. Do we still use them now? Yeah. Like the traditional, just...
We use them all the time on set.
That's so funny. That's super cool. So yeah, those are the fun facts about Casablanca. Yeah. To know more about it, though, you gotta go see it for yourself.
Yeah. And also, I would like to add, Casablanca is still influencing films released recently. Most notably, like last year, La La Land.
Yep.
Like, the way it ends, very, very Casablanca-esque.
That's true.
Like, where it ends kind of sad, kind of happy at the same time, where... Mm-hmm. They both everything ends up working out okay. Mm-hmm. Just the way it opens, like the film setup, it's set on it's focused on these two characters, and the rest really aren't that developed that well.
Exactly.
So
tunnel visioned.
Yeah, they even reference it in La La Land too.
They do, yeah, which is super
on the Warner
cool.
Brothers set.
Yeah.
at that coffee shop that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
I would be working there.
Yep, every day. They do have a coffee shop in Warner Brothers, or a couple coffee shops, but they're not on the set.
Yeah.
Like that. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So overall, I think that Casablanca is a movie that everyone should see. If you love movies. If you love movies and you want to be involved in movies in any way, you have to see Casablanca, because it's definitely the movie, not to be cliche, but the movie that kind of started it all.
Yeah.